Hey, hey. My name is Paul, and I've had this SSL SiX for a couple years now. And I am not what most would probably consider an audio engineer, but I like to have fun. And I use this machine to make music with all of these beautiful things that are in this little circle. I want to just make a video that explains, I guess, from a beginner's perspective, how to use this thing. As I saw, a lot of people were kind of frustrated with SSL for not really making like a beginner's guide that just walks through kind of all the buttons and cables and switches and stuff. So that's going to be this. So here I am working to do that. Let's go. So first off, you want to make sure your SSL is connected to your interface or directly into your speakers, if that's what you're doing. In my case, I'm actually have it going into my interface through these two cables, and it's connected to the main output TRS holes, the whole main output holes in the back. So you can just turn your SSL around and find those and plug either these in, or that has an XLR option. So if you want to go straight XLR into your interface or whatever, you can use those. After you plug those output cables in, the ones in the back right here, you got to make sure that this button is plugged in, this main button, because this is what's routing the audio to those main output signals. And if you were to hit this other button, the bus B button, then it'll route the signal through there too. That's how you control like which source is actually the monitor is going out of. So I'm gonna start with plugging in a microphone. So just got a mic cable right here, and I'm just gonna plug it into the first input. So what we want to look at is the first button here. If you look, it says 48 volt. So some microphones, like condenser microphones, will require 48 volt to be powered. Most interfaces have this as well. But this will just, power mostly condenser microphones. But you want to make sure to be careful because it can also damage some microphones, like ribbon microphones, if you're running this through it. The next over here is a high pass filter, HPF. So that high pass filter actually will do a filter of the audio. I think it's at like 80 hertz or something like that, or maybe a little bit less than that. So this is a good thing if you want to, if you're doing like a voiceover and you want to cut off some of the vocals, or if you're recording vocals, you want to make sure this is on. But if you're recording bass or something, you want to make sure this is off because this will cut out like a lot of the frequencies you want to be recording. The next two buttons are high Z and line. So line switches it from a mic input to a line input. So you see like it has both mic and the line input right here. So this allows you to like switch between both, which is a pretty useful thing because you can always have a guitar cable plugged in there, which I'm actually going to do right now. Just going to plug in this guitar cable. So then I'm able to switch between the inputs really easily just by pressing that line button. So right now it's on mic by standard. So now we'll go through the channel strip. The first thing is the preamp. So I'm going to bump the preamp. I actually plugged this into the SM7B that's behind me over here. So, yo, test. You see I'm coming through. Hey! And you see I'm actually coming, I'm going into OBS as well because I have the SSL routed directly to OBS. So if I turn this mic off, now you're just hearing me through the SSL, which it's going to be really quiet. So sorry if it's really quiet. Pretty simple. This red knob is a high EQ. So when you hit it in, the middle knob hits it in. And then the red one just like boosts up your high frequencies. And then the black one will boost up or increase your low frequencies. So in the regular mode, it's in a shelf mode, which just means it's kind of like a general sweep. And then if you click in the bell, it does more of like a narrow mode. So it's kind of more like choosing specific frequencies to bump and decrease. Into here, exactly. So you can hear when I'm bumping up the preamp, you can hear there's more stuff happening. The compressor, the more you turn it, I think it's right. Yeah, the more compression it's doing. So that's high. That's pretty much like max compression, going a little bit less and less and less and less right there. And now we can mess with this EQ. So going up and up and up. So that's it on my voice, and sucking out with this one. Can kind of hear what the bell is doing, and I'll bump it up. Bumping up and up and up and up and up and up and up. Cutting out the high. You get a pretty low focus sound right here. Pretty low focus sound. And now talk a little bit more about what's going on with this section, which is the send section. It's a bit more confusing, but I think generally it's easy. So one thing to understand is these can be the EXT inputs. I'm going to show the camera a little bit. These right here can be used as inputs and as like a send. So they have an input and an output here, which means that you could plug this up to like a reverb unit and then be able to pull up this fader and then just click this button and then turn this, and it'll be sending the signal that's going through here into the reverb. Other things you can use this for is actually as an input, and that's something that I can demonstrate right now as I plug up this synthesizer. So I'm going to be plugging up this MicroKorg that is right here. So this MicroKorg, I got 2 cables coming from it, and I'll just go right into the EXT inputs. Boom, boom. I'm not sure if this is plugged in. Cool, so we got this dude plugged in and hot. So in order to get this to route into the SSL, we are briefly going to look at this side section over here. So something in this beginner's guide to make especially clear is you just recording music and doing basic stuff, you don't really need this section where it says the foldback 1 and foldback 2. It can be useful if you want to start using these as like a headphone thing, but usually that's way too complicated and most people don't need pretty much anything that's going on here. The thing to pay attention to here is this little section here, the monitor source. So what we'll be doing is actually sending, so we put it in EXT1, and then we're gonna hit the EXT1 button, and then now when I click on the keyboard, you'll be able to see some input is actually going into the SSL. I'm not sure how loud it is, but it is going. So yeah, that's how you can use that as an input, is you click the little button that's right under where it says, so there's an EXT1 button right here, and then this one right here is an EXT2 button that's right above it. So I could, I'll undo this, go da-da-da, da-da-da, into the EXT2, and then click that, and then you'll see some signals going through. There isn't like a preamp. This is like a trim fader, I'm pretty sure, so it's not like a preamp, so you can't like even if I bump it all the way up to make it louder. And then I'll plug these into just the stereo output that's right here and turn that fader up. You'll see I'm getting some. So why it's not going through is I need to hit main. So this main needs to be plugged in as your main monitor source. That's an important. You always need this plugged in so that you're really hearing like what is being sent through your main. And then this level will like control that in addition to your master fader and your monitor source button. So you can use those 3 to kind of gain stage what's going on in your mains. Cool. As a final thing, I'm plugging in. I want to test out the bus compressor, but I'm also going to show you just like plugging in an instrument, specifically a bass. So, I plugged it into the first channel. I'm going to make sure turn the preamp down a little bit for sure. Make sure high pass filter is not in. Hit line, and then the high Z, that's going to increase the impedance. And then when I do this, you see my bass is now making some sounds. Make sure this isn't too loud. Boom, boom, boom. Cool. And then I'll put a little bit of compression on there. You could see the fader move around when I am bus compressor is also engaging. A little bit more bus compression. Boom, 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 boom. So yeah, the bus compressor has two knobs. The left one is threshold, where if you turn it left, it increases how much compression is going on. And then the right one is a makeup gain. That'll then adjust just makeup. It just adds a little bit of makeup gain, so you can adjust how much compression. Adjust it per how much compression you're adding. And then you have your master fader as part of that cycle too. That's going to be the thing that controls, you know, how much level is going out to your speakers or out to whatever device you are linking it to. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope this video was a good beginner's guide. I tried to make it not too long. If you have ideas for other videos or things that I could help you with, definitely let me know. Go ahead and check out my other videos on my channel. Some of them are related to tips and tricks and stuff, so that'd be awesome. And I don't, you know, if you like what's going on, definitely subscribe. I don't really care. But yeah, have a good day.